Knowing yourself is such a powerful thing. You can separate what's not for you and what is for you much more clearly. This week's video is on knowing yourself, which I've always thought is such an interesting topic. The fact that a portion of our lives is figuring out who we are, and then the next portion is like putting that to good use. Getting to know yourself is a process. It's a beautiful process, but these are 4 things that have worked really well for me to get to that part of really understanding who I am. I hope it's helpful for you as well. Let's get to it. The first few tricks that I have are really centered around the idea of first filtering out what isn't you, and then getting so much perspective so that you can figure out what parts of that are speaking to you, if that makes sense. One part of it is finding the type of solitude where you can truly go deep, deep within yourself. For me, I spent a lot of time alone. None of that was by my own choice, but having so much time alone, you think about everything. The voice that's inside of you gets louder. And that's a good thing because you can listen to it, you can hear very clearly, like, I like this, I don't like this. And you're not taking someone else's views or what they think is cool, what they like, and merging yourself with that. When you're alone, it's just yourself. There's no one else to impress, there's no one else to think about, and you get to hear your true needs and desires a lot clearer. If you can't spend that much time alone, I think it's also helpful to cut out as much as you can the other things that are really like speaking, like creating noise near you, whether that's like news or people around you that like whenever they're talking, they're like always suggesting what you should be doing. Filtering as much of that as you can out so that you can shine through is a really important step. Another step, which I don't think these steps have to be done in any sort of order, but I think they're each like parts that if you go through each of these with dedication, you can get so close to really knowing yourself. The next part is meeting lots and lots of different people. And that might sound contradictory to what I was just saying. You gotta be alone, you gotta find that solitude. That has to be some time, but then you need to have some time where you're also meeting a range of diverse people, personalities, ages, all these types of things. And what's important here is talking to a lot of people that are so different, but doing so with no judgment. You can learn so much about yourself that way. Also, when you do this, you start to see what makes someone them, and then you can start to see what might make something you, and what parts of them that you don't share, that are not representative of any parts of you. This next one might sound strange, but I did this a lot when I was in high school. Taking different personality tests. I'm not talking like the BuzzFeed ones that are like, oh, what type of potato are you? I mean like some of the ones that are more well known for being more accurate representations of your personality. Just reading about these different things that are explaining maybe some parts of you that other people do find to have some truth in it. It doesn't hurt to read it. Just because something's saying you're a certain way doesn't mean that you are. I just think it's very interesting to read and kind of decipher how you view yourself and how something else is saying it, but also definitely take whatever you're reading with a grain of salt. Whoever's writing like how this person is, they're writing it with their tone, how they talk. Certain words that they use might sound way more aggressive than they even mean it. You might just take it in such a different way. Don't take it word for word. Some of the ones that I think are pretty cool to look at are MBTI. There was one I took in college called StrengthsFinder, and also for astrology. I'm not just talking like what your sign is. There's a lot of layers to that. I think at least getting to know all of your other placements, like where all the different planets are, is gonna be much more helpful than like, oh, I'm a Scorpio or I'm this. You know, there's only so many signs. I truly think doing these different things, even if I didn't believe or agree with some of that, it's cool to see, and that's all that it has to be. Something that I've done for years is I've always had a notebook. I don't write like full entries. Whenever I've had notebooks, it's been writing down something small, like a song lyric or something cool that happened during the day or something that made me happy throughout the day, like tiny little entries. And even when you do just that over a period of time, eventually years, when I've done that, like there's definitely been periods where I'm like really into it, I'm doing it every day, and then a few months go by and I haven't touched it. But doing that has been so interesting. Like you don't think you change, or you don't think maybe like you've learned that much, but if you fill up a journal and then you're on your next journal and you go back to one of your older journals, it is so interesting to see a snapshot of what your younger self, your older self was like. And it also helps you understand what stayed the same, what's changed. For me, like I go back to my old journals that are probably now over 10 years ago, and it's crazy to see what I was like, you know, what was in my little world of what I was thinking about. If it was like, I don't know, boys or friends, what I want to do overall, all of that helps you understand who you are. And even the act of writing down something so small that your present self just likes, or certain things that you might have experienced that you do not like, all those little things are what makes you you. And then the little things are the first step, but as you write down the little things that you really like or really don't like, you can see patterns, and you can also get deeper, like, oh, why don't I like certain things? Why do I really love certain things? And those deeper understandings of yourself make up the core of who you are and knowing yourself really deeply. I think everyone's timeline is gonna look different for getting to know yourself and feeling like you really know yourself. And even that, you can always also reinvent yourself. You can choose to be any sort of way. Anything that you like, feeling like drawn towards, I feel like that is really what makes up who you are. So the more that you can identify those things, you can really get to know yourself on such a powerful level. My name is Catherine. I post self-improvement videos every week to help you get closer to your most loved and authentic selves. Love you guys. I'll see you soon.